Hey everybody, welcome to Peoples and Things, where we explore human life with technology. Today I want to talk to you about a very important topic, which is the threat to humanity known as the circular economy. Have you heard of that before? The circular economy? The idea starts off from this very intuitive and true thought that in our current economic system, we extract materials from the earth, we make products out of them, we use those products, and then with most things, we just throw them away. They become waste. We literally bury them in the ground. And a lot of this circular economy picture makes sense and is true. For example, in his great book, Shock of the Old, which you should read, David Edgerton points out that we have made toasters so cheap that instead of repairing them, we simply throw them away. Indeed, in many places, having a repair person even just look at a toaster, not even repair it, would cost more than a new toaster. We have built a global economic system of cheap crap that incentivizes disposability. This is bad news in a lot of ways. For example, a lot of elements and minerals that we are putting in electronics, everything from smartphones to electric vehicles, are non-renewable and may run out in the foreseeable future. But we're just shooting them like missiles into garbage dumps. And it's not just that we are wasting all of these materials that will need to be replaced through further extraction and may even run out. We also need to expend energy to extract the raw materials and to manufacture the product and to ship it. And in a world of global climate change, that's not great because using energy produces emissions. And maybe you're like one of those folks who are like, well, that's not going to be a problem forever because we're going to invent fusion power, which will be environmentally green and will make electricity too cheap to meter. And I say that sounds great. But until then, how about we use our fucking heads a bit? How about that? Until your magic Jesus Messiah technological fix comes along, how about we use our noggins for a change? So again, what we need to do is manufacture our products so that they last longer, so that they are maintainable and repairable, and so that when they do die, and everything dies, they are truly recyclable. And this view might sound Luddite-like or like it's against innovation, but that isn't the case at all. Indeed, if we define technical standards appropriately, we can actually push firms into doing more R&D and innovation around durability and maintainability. If we do this right, we can actually get innovation that is clearly socially beneficial. But in a lot of areas of consumer products, we do need to simplify things. Like when Andy Russell and I were writing The Innovation Delusion, we would talk to appliance repair people and they would constantly bitch about all of the recent doodads added to refrigerators and other kitchen appliances like ice machines and water filters and how they break down all the time. The whole job of these repair people becomes walking around fixing these stupid add-on gadgets. You're just adding complexity where it doesn't need to be. And now, my God, companies are adding fucking touchscreen computers to the front of their appliances. How stupid is that? The instinct that everything needs to be connected to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi isn't just dumb, it's evil. Because anytime you add a computer chip to something, you are shortening its lifespan. And I think we've all been over at someone's house and they have like their parents' or grandparents' old fridge from the 1970s cooling beer in the garage. And by Jove, that thing is still running strong. So what do you think? Have we been making societal progress? So we need to make it so that our products last longer. But here's the thing, doing so will require state power. It's going to require something called regulation. Now, all of a sudden, you're feeling nervous. You feel something in the pit of your stomach and perhaps at the base of your spine. And you're like, hold on, did I just tune into a socialist TV show or something? What's going on here? You're not sure, but you feel like something might be going sideways on you. Because maybe you are a true American. you don't go for any of that socialism shit. And you only want the government to intervene in economic activity, especially our sovereign, God-given right to act as consumers, when it is absolutely necessary. And I hear you, my friend. I hear you. How I wish we could share a beer and bourbon together. I hear you. But I will argue that passing regulations in the name of something like a circular economy is absolutely necessary. It is demonstrably necessary. It is something we can see and know. And you might be saying, what in Sam Hale? Well, when I'm talking about this, I usually start with something that happened to Apple in January 2019. And by the way, if you want a longer version of the story, you can read something I wrote called I Won't Buy Another iPhone Until Apple Supports Right to Repair. I'll link to it below. So what happens in January 19 is that Apple stock takes a hit because it underperformed on sales. And in that month, Apple CEO Tim Cook wrote a letter explaining why the company missed its mark. And you might ask, why did it miss its mark? I mean, Apple usually does pretty well. What explained the downturn in sales? The answer is that several factors were at play, but in his letter, Cook said that one of the factors was that, I quote, some customers took advantage of significantly reduced pricing for iPhone battery replacements, end quote. What's going on there? You see, this was right after Apple offered repair services because it was discovered that they were throttling phone speeds because their batteries were defective. As a result, Apple offered to replace the batteries for $29. By the way, if you are interested in this story and want to go a bit deeper, you can read the Vice article, Tim Cook to Investors, People Bought Fewer New iPhones Because They Repaired Their Old Ones. Consumers took advantage of this program and improved their existing phones instead of buying new ones, and that hurt sales. Apple's job is to sell phones. The company's stock is judged by whether it is selling phones. If you maintain and repair your iPhone, you will keep it for longer, and you will upgrade phones less often, and on the aggregate level, that means depressed sales. So Apple's business model is set directly in opposition to a good environmental outcome. There is a structural issue at the heart of our current system of capitalism. And you can call it consumer capitalism, or you can call it neoliberal capitalism. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. But this structure pushes companies to act exactly against the reality in the vision of the circular economy. Corporations have direct incentives to act in ways that hurt our planet. In economics, this is called a negative externality. It is a cost that market transactions pass on to the rest of us who are not involved and to the other animals and beings that inhabit Earth. For sure, we all also benefit from this current system, and that is why we too will resist changing it. I mean, cheap disposable shit is great, isn't it? It is so groovy. I can lay in bed, fantasize about my future, and Amazon one-click consumer products that I am just sure will make my goals in life come real. Don't you dare take away my cheap shit, bro. Now, I don't think we need to nationalize consumer product companies. As a starter, at least, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me at all. We can use technical standards to force companies to make their products last longer and be more repairable. We can democratically require companies to play by such rules if they're going to participate in our markets. And this is what my first book, Moving Violations, Automobiles, Experts, and Regulations in the United States, is about. It's about how the United States used performance standards to bring expertise to bear to solve pressing social problems and negative externalities like safety and air pollution. And by the way, if you don't have access to that book and would like to read the conclusion, just drop me an email and I will share it with you. In that conclusion, I lay out a kind of theory of how we can and should use performance standards to deal with a number of technological problems, including climate change. But I also believe we can and should use such standards to deal with the circular economy. So I was getting really into the right to repair movement and into circular economy. And let me just say that in my book, leaders of the right to repair movement like Gay Gordon Byrne and Nathan Proctor and Kyle Wines are true heroes. But I was getting into the circular economy. I was reading everything about it I could find, but then I discovered something truly dreadful. You know how it is with the lizard people who run the Great Reset for the World Economic Forum? You always have to read between the lines with those lizard people. Here's the deal. What I found is that the circular economy is a plot to make us hang out with other human beings. Because if we're going to repair things more often, you're going to need to talk to and interact with repair people and possibly others more often. You know, some of these repair and circular economy folks, they hang out at like repair cafes. They go to public places and hang out with other people and fix things. This is the real secret mission of the circular economy. It is a pro-social agenda. Circular economy advocates are covertly trying to get us to interact with other human beings. Do these people know how much hard work we have done to isolate ourselves and bask in our soul-crushing loneliness? Now, I don't know about you, but I have spent hours upon hours carefully curating my Twitter feed to include only those good souls who give me that scintillating quaver of outrage and despair. Oh, look at this on Facebook. A Trump supporter family member doubting that healthy young people really need to take the COVID vaccine. Bam! Unfriended. That's the power move right there, baby. You know it. We don't even leave the house to shop anymore. My pets alert me to the approaching UPS truck, and then I hide at the corner of the window hoping the dude won't see me as I think to myself, get back in the truck faster, man. I can't wait to see what kind of new buyer's remorse is waiting in those beautiful brown boxes from Uncle Bezos. We have worked so hard to earn this pit of emptiness in our hearts. Brothers and sisters, will you stand with me against this pro-social and friendly plot that is the circular economy? Will you stand with me? I know you will, because we will clinch tight to our current system of capitalism, disposable consumerism, and soul-breaking loneliness, even if it's the last thing we do, even if it means we destroy our world.